This cut is either going to turn this sweater into something wearable or into a useless pile of wool scraps. This is one of my favorite Sentimental sweaters, and unfortunately it went through a bit of a laundry accident and it has shrunk considerably. While it still kind of fits me in the neck hole area and it got a little shorter, it still kind of works, but the sleeves are way too short and the armhole is way too tight, so there's just no way that I can wear this anymore. But I'm just too attached to this sweater to get rid of it. So when I found a way to rescue felted or shrunken sweaters in a vintage book, I thought that I had to give it a try on this sweater.
This book for the 1940s has an entire section on remaking and making do, on what you can do with sweaters that are either really worn out or shrunken and felted. And there's one particular section and one particular hack that I want to try out this time. The book recommends that you cut off the sleeves from a felted short sleeve jersey in order to turn it into a jerkin, or what I would personally call a vest. So we are going to see if I can figure out how to turn my felted and shrunken sweater into a vest that I'll actually wear.
You know, one thing that really sticks out to me when I'm looking at it again is that this is supposed to be a medium, and it's kind of a cool mix. It's mostly cashmere, like a little over half cashmere, 50-50 with cotton, and it is so felted. You cannot unpick this because it's just so melded together into one fabric. You can really feel it. It no longer feels like a smooth, wavy fabric. It's like dense material, you know? And this is supposed to be a medium, and I currently wear like a small to extra small in tops depending on the brand, and the medium is small on me with this one, when it used to be even oversized. So like, it has shrunk. I was kind of in denial about it, but I never wore it because it was so uncomfortable. A maybe not so bad idea might be to have like a pattern or a vest that fits me and lay it on top of this and see. But things are still a little bit chaotic from a move, so I don't have access to quite everything. So based on how it fit when I tried it on and saw how tight it was, I'm going to do a best guess cut on the first sleeve and the first armhole. And to be honest, I'm nervous. This cut is either going to turn this sweater into something wearable or into a useless pile of wool scraps. Okay, there's no going back now. The arm is officially off. I'm very tempted to keep cutting to make these even. I think the best bet is for me to try it on now and see how this works. We're gonna add, because this is just, I mean, it is felted, so it shouldn't fray, but it is an unfinished edge, and I prefer having finished edges on the armhole. So we are gonna crochet, but it's not gonna be a very deep crochet border. So I think that amount of underarm is fine. What I'm noticing when I look at this from the front is that I kind of want to scoop out a little bit more of the armholes in the front. I think in the back, they're good, but I think I wanna cut in on the front a little bit. So let's do that. All right, so I went back, I cut the armholes a little bit deeper on the front, or a little bit more in on the, not deeper, like in on the front, and I like that much better. Took a few tries to even them out. Probably, again, like I said, could have used a pattern to make it better, but that's okay. Now we've got to finish this unfinished edge with some crochet. So let's see what the vintage book suggests, and if we want to do it that way, or maybe some slightly different version of it. So let's have Nutella help us determine what the crochet edging should be. Yeah. So the 2 contrasting shades of wool were used, 2 rows of double crochet in the first shade. And now I have to remember, this is a UK book, and UK and US terms for crochet are different. So this is UK double crochet in the first shade, and then in the second shade you do 1 double crochet, 1 chain, miss, and you repeat all along. Contrasting color. My mind immediately went to white, and then like a deeper blue like this. Well, I know I want to start with a row of white. So I'll start with a white, and then we'll see, we can do a test of the secondary color for a little bit and see which one we like better. So let me sit down with a crochet hook, start crocheting. So while I'm working on this crochet edge, I kind of want to discuss why this sweater is so special to me and why I wanted to save it so much, and why this white yarn that I'm using is also very, very special. So hopefully I kind of combine two very sentimental things into a new item that I will love wearing. I bought this sweater at a factory directly at the place that makes these sweater, in a place called Hoyk in Scotland. The town is historically known for its fabric production, especially its knitting fabric production. So there were so many knitting machines, and I don't know if I can find any footage from it. I will try so I can include it in here. There's a big glass window where you can look inside and see the factory floor and see all of the knitting machines working. And I stood there for such a long time because I was just absolutely fascinated by this factory full of knitting machines and people working on them. And they were so kind because they noticed me standing there and just watching in awe, because I have knitting machines and I love using them. And they invited me back and showed me the entire process and how they make sweaters. It was my first taste of like large scale sweater construction, manufacture, and finishing that really made me get more of the bug of like making my own sweaters eventually on my knitting machines and on my finishing machines. I have literally dreamed of that trip since then, and the only reason I went there is that offhand I mentioned in one of my videos before I left that I was heading to Scotland, and I got a comment from one of you lovely people that said, "Hey, since you're going to Scotland, have you ever considered visiting the town of Hoyk?" And so I have you all to thank for telling me about a place like this, and I actually changed my travel plans in order to visit that town and visit all the factories that are there. That was such a transformative trip for me and gave me such inspiration for what I want to do and what I want to build. So thank you. The other piece of this that is quite sentimental and meaningful to me is this white yarn. I bought this years ago at a knitting festival from someone who owns her own Angora rabbits, and she brushes them to take care of their fur, because you have to do that for their well-being. And she saves all the hair that comes off when she's brushing them and hand spins it into yarn. And I bought this skein of yarn, which was not inexpensive, but very much worth it because it is absolutely beautiful. And I have treasured it ever since. And when I saw that you had to do a crochet edge on this piece in order to finish the armhole, I thought that the Angora would be perfect, because the Angora has this, I mean, the defining characteristic is the halo of the yarn. And because my sweater felted and it was a cashmere mix, it also has this halo. So I thought that that would be a perfect combination of yarn and sweater. I am very excited already with how this little bit of the border is looking. Okay, so I finished the first row of UK double crochet, US single crochet around the armhole, and I think it's so cute. It's kind of curling inwards a little bit because I made it a little tighter than what the opening is, because I noticed that it's kind of starting to warp. Is that the right word? I'm not exactly sure. I think on the back of the armhole you can see it more than on the front. Like, by it I mean the white yarn. And I like that white yarn contrast so much. I don't actually think I'm going to use the second yarn as a contrasting color. I held it up and I want to see more of that white on the front especially. So now the instructions say, I think, to double crochet, chain one, skip one, double crochet, chain one, skip one, to kind of like, it's a little bit more of like an open lacy pattern. The other option that I can do is maybe like a picot edge. So a little cute and frilly, but I think I might stick with that first idea where you kind of are creating a little bit of like, it's not going to be a very big lace, but it'll look a little bit more open and airy that way. I just bound off on the second border, on the second armhole, and I do want to share with you the final results, but I had an idea while I was crocheting that in the vintage book it says from the sleeves that you cut off you can make a baby bonnet. I don't need a baby bonnet, but I do have some other ideas for what I could make out of the sleeves. One of them is, I think I want to pep up my beautiful emotional support chicken. She is wearing a very lovely red cape, but I think I would like to swap that out for, I don't know, what do you think? A bonnet? I wonder if we turn this back and then I cut at the bottom and like here, if that could turn into like a little hood. I also have a certain someone watching me, Nutella. Do you want to come here? So I feel like I could follow the instructions and make a little bonnet for Nutella, which would be very cute. But let me tell you, from my experience of dressing Nutella in the past, bonnets aren't her favorite thing. I don't know. Sometimes I tie a bandana and fold it into a triangle and tie that around her neck. She doesn't mind that as much. What do you think, Nutella? Would you be okay with that? Oh, that's a good girl. Oh, don't you look so pretty with your little new bib? I love it. It's actually so cute. And I thought I was gonna give my chicken a sweater, but it kind of, or maybe a bonnet, but it kind of perfectly works as a cape. So she's got another cape on. So Nutella looks amazing in her new neckerchief. Henrietta looks fantastic in her new cape. And I think I'm going to have to show off my version, my new version of my sweater that I think is so cute and I am going to wear so often now.
I'm so glad I stuck with just the white yarn as a contrasting color around the armhole. I think it turned out so cute. And this sweater that I was pretty sad that I shrunk has turned into an item of clothing that I actually think I'm going to wear a lot. I think it's really cute. What do you think? Is this something that I technically saved a shrunken sweater? I didn't stretch it back out to its original size, but I turned it back into something that I think I'll continue to wear. Do you think you'll ever try it? I'm very curious if you do. Thank you so much for watching. There's a video on the screen that I think that you might enjoy watching as well, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!